So we're in a new location, an interesting location. Last week we were kind of down by the beach, closer to Santa Rosa, further down the coast. There's seagulls here, but they shouldn't be here because it's actually much further inland. We have no idea how they got there. These little kind of groups of these seagulls here, but this is actually in Mount Shasta, California. So it's about 4.5 hours north of where we were last week. And I'm trying to see if there is like a mountain view. It might be on, I think it's on the other side of this building. I'll try to
Yeah, I see a mountain disappearing into the
see a mountain.
clouds.
Yeah. So that was this is Black View, which is it's like an interesting mountain in its own right. Um and it's kind of in clouds. And Shasta should be to the right of it. And I'll try to kind of go around this Starbucks and see if it's over there. I think it looks like it's through the trees, and it looks like there's probably some interesting cloud formations on top of it. So yeah, 'cause this whole area it's pretty close to Mount Shasta, so sort of being in the vicinity of it is there. And I was actually trying to drive up it, which I have done before. Yeah, so it looks like that's it, but it's kind of through the
Mhm.
trees and kind of with my eyes I can see it, but with the contrast here,
Mm.
we're not quite getting the full
Yeah,
Mount Shasta view.
that first mountain looked like it had some ski runs on it.
Mount Shasta has skiing on it, and
Oh, as
I
well.
didn't know that before. Somebody pointed it out to me on this trip that there's a side of the mountain that you don't usually see. So like if you see it from the road or you're in like the national forest and you're driving up, you don't see any you know, ski resorts or whatever. But there's a side of the mountain that isn't really visible from the road. And they have a whole ski set up there with lifts and everything. And in the summer they do mountain biking too, which I also didn't know about. So a ton of people, it's open year round. It's not just a winter winter thing. Um, so what I find really interesting about this area, and I think we all could relate to it too. So when you step close to the Samadhi, obviously there's incredible energy, there. When you get close to it, when you get in front of it, it's very incredible. So there's a different kind of energy there, right? So it's obviously going to be different than being at the Samadhi because it's a different thing. But in the way that there is a change that the location that you're in changes how you feel based on um, just kind of based on what's there. That a similar phenomenon to that takes place for me around this area, um, and it takes place even at some radius, of the mountain. So it's a really interesting place. Um, I was here I was here first a very long time ago. I kind of totally unintentionally. I was driving by on a very long road trip up to near Canada and Montana, and I saw the mountain and felt that I needed to pull over and investigate, and wound up driving up and checking it out. So it's definitely exciting for me um, to be over here, and I'll probably be here for a few days, and then go back to Harbin Hot Springs where we were. Maybe it was 3.5 weeks ago by
Mm.
now. So that's the plan. That's the plan over here. So we'll we have some mountain air with us. I would have had this call from a really scenic location where I was last night. I was camping out, my girlfriend and I, by this like super picturesque lake. It's called Lake Shastina, and people had set it up just these like perfect little campsites, and it was totally view of the lake, all trees, nothing was around. It would have been an amazing background for this video, and I was hoping to do that. But when I turned on the phone this morning and tried to speed test how many bars of signal we had and how much connection we had, there wasn't any out there.
Uh,
It wasn't connecting whatsoever. So we had to come back to civilization a little bit in a very small town called called Weed. It was probably named Weed, I don't know, 200 years ago or something like that. Um, but yeah, that's where it is. Very very small town around around Shasta. Um, and it's basically this area. It's like not even a stop on the highway. Um,
wow. Mm.
yeah, yeah. Like so, there's much bigger stops, like major truck stops, like 50 miles before this, and and after this would be something. And it's just you know kind of not even a blip on the map, um, which is very interesting. So let's um let's get warmed up a little bit. I feel like doing some twisting, some mild twisting, kind of get the energy flowing, loosen up a bit. Let's do that. Stretch.
Feels good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm also gonna kind of wiggle my arms up and down, make a little space in the shoulders. And I'm not gonna, it's actually quite cold here. It went down a little bit past freezing
Yikes.
last night. Yeah, that's why nobody is here right now. I'm continually surprised how nobody's here, but that's why no one's here because it's, I guess it's going to be the off season um, until things warm up a bit. We could do some gentle shoulder rolls backward as we've done before to kind of open things up. And again, I'm going to be keeping my attention into the muscle area. We do that.
Are you all camping?
Yeah, yeah, we are camping out. We did retreat to a motel not last night, but nights before for 3 nights because it was a snowstorm, winter
Wow.
advisory
Uh-huh.
warning. So we had kind of taken some shelter, but other than that, camping is it's out in nature, so that's better. Um, a lot of times I get, as long as I'm not woken up, I can get the same night's sleep anyway. Um, so it's the best way to do it. That's the point, is to kind of get out and be out. If we wanted to be inside, we could have not taken the trip and just stayed in an apartment in Germany. But yeah, the point was to kind of get out, meet people, and be outdoors. All right.
I set I set up a tent in my yard and sleep in it for as much of the year as I can. But
Ah,
they collapse in you know in a snowstorm.
yeah. I'm doing this very interesting setup now. I mean, before I had this one person tent, I actually left that behind. Um, and somebody on this trip taught me how to kind of wrap the sleeping bag, and it's actually a lot warmer. Like and maybe it's like 3 times warmer because the kind of the cold air can't get in around it. So you kind of wrap it with a heavy tarp, not something that's like super flimsy and bendable, but something that's more heavy, and it makes it a lot warmer. So so I've been using with two sleeping bags too.
Good, good
Yeah,
tip. Yeah.
and that works. I didn't yeah, and I didn't know like it would be possible to be out in this kind of cold and actually be warm enough, but it is with enough stuff. So
You guys change into your pajamas?
last night I didn't change into anything. I changed into as many things as I had, which is basically everything I'm still wearing. So every sweatshirt, every jacket, every shirt, every layer, every pair of pants, everything is what I made sure I had on me before crawling into that.
Right. Yeah.
And you really have to crawl in because it's not like a tent where you can go in there and stand up and like set stuff up. It's not like that. It's like you're literal. It's like a little tube that yeah, a tube that you made with the sleeping bag and then this thing wrapped on top of it. And you're like sliding in, and kind of shimmying in, but that really keeps it warm. And then you make like a little air hole at the top. All right.
Yeah, Baba would
So
like
yeah,
cover
go
his
ahead.
head with a, cover everything with a sheet, including his head. But I find that feels suffocating to me to do that. I have to leave my nose out.
Right. That's a very interesting style, and I've thought about doing that. Um, and in this way to do it, the original way that I was taught was actually by like ex-Army Ranger that was teaching me like how he was doing it. But in the original method, it kind of pumps down over your face. So that heavy tarp like comes on your face and then your nose is kind of touching it. And then it's like when I tried that, I was getting woken up because like the nose is touching it. The interesting thing is it's not a sheet, like it's a little bit stiff. So you have a little bit of air. So that's how he was doing it. He had like an oilskin tarp and it was like a bit stiff, so it wasn't like conforming to the face, but still like your nose is bumping up into it. So I modified that and I put like a little folding chair in the back of my head, and then that thing is resting on top of it, and then I get like a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've done that too. Yeah, like
yeah,
a little arch.
a little arch, exactly, right. But no, the sheet idea, I think it's super interesting. Um, and I heard like in India that can like keep bugs away from you as well. Here there aren't really any bugs. You can have like a non-tent thing, like it's like open, anything can fly in there, crawl in there, and nothing comes in.
Too,
Um,
too early. Just
you think later in the year
oh,
they're gonna
no
come?
doubt. Yeah, mosquitoes are everywhere. Yeah.
I see. All right, so I'm gonna have to modify the approach. Maybe we'll get back to try the sheet idea. It's a good idea.
Or a
Okay,
mosquito net.
mosquito net. That could be. Yeah, when I was in India at the Samadhi, I used mosquito nets because those mosquitoes are like nothing we have in the States.
Vicious.
Those are serious. Yeah, I had like finger mosquito netting, and they would still manage to. I
Wow.
realized you had to actually cover it. Like the net wasn't enough. You had to put, I don't know, gloves
Yikes.
on or put
Wow.
on, to really like seal it off. Like put a sweatshirt around your hands or like whatever it was. It had to be like serious to keep those guys out. They don't play around. Um, okay, so let's get to our healing. We can we can kind of close our eyes, step into a silent stillness. Take some gentle breaths in. After that, moving around, my chest is feeling a bit more open. Yeah, especially after kind of sleeping all bundled up. Now I'm more ready to go over here. We're going to focus our attention a little bit farther down the chest towards the bottom of the rib cage. Work on some blockages in that area. And these are things that, it's known as the power center of the Manipura. But it's basically things that get in your way of, of doing things. It gets those thoughts to creep in. No, I can't do this. And, kind of second guessing yourself, taking away from kind of just getting out there and doing what you want to do. So we are going to focus in over there. Give ourselves a bit more strength and courage here. Yeah. We're in the headspace as well, going into there now. Gonna call on Meher Baba all to join us, spread his love and his compassion through us and through everyone who may reach us on the replay as well. And we'll kind of just let his energy and grace come in there, come in and flow out. just when we're doing the head, we're still very much around that Manipur area in some slightly different areas. Before we were more on kind of the left side. Now we're on the right side. Now we're more on the upper left. Okay, so that'll wrap us up for the meditation today. How are you doing, Jen?
Thanks, Jonah. That was nice. Yeah. I'm digging these sessions of quiet and internal calm, and my body feels good.
Great. Great. Yeah, really happy to be on with you today and share, yeah, the morning here. Guess yourself early afternoon. Um,
Yeah, from your video, I'm getting or whatever. I'm feeling that California Shasta energy and enjoy
oh, okay, good.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a really interesting place to have a session because it's, it is like, it's right next to Shasta. It's in that energy. It's also at like, I don't know. It's right. It's at this Starbucks and you have like a few trucks moving around here. I'm sure I don't know. Maybe you got some. Here's one coming out now.
I
You
see
probably
them.
had.
Yeah.
Did you have background noise? Were you able to hear like a little beep beeping and whatnot? Like, no?
None
Okay.
whatsoever. None
All
whatsoever.
right. Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Well, the
Yeah.
connectivity is good. We got the Wi-Fi of the Starbucks here, and we got some signal in this little town. So from the connectivity, we got that. So, yeah. So thank you for joining. We'll see you next week.
My pleasure. Compassionate Father, Mayor Baba. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jay
Jay,
Baba. Thank
Jay
you for
Baba.
providing.